So this is the test pilot. Let's see how this goes. I think my camera is very shaky, which is super annoying. Oh my god, let's see. This is how it is with this, with the cheap cars. Okay, I think we've equalized. All right, so we are on the way to Troodos, the highest mountain in Cyprus. Well, of course, we're not going to Troodos per se. Instead, we are going to do the Caledonia trail, which, if the memory serves me well, is about 7 to 8 kilometers, something like that. So we'll see how that goes. It's been a while. And I know this is my first time filming. Just to give you some background, I am driving a Toyota Aygo, which is a rental car, since I have just recently bought my first car. And I thought, since Hertz will not give me my money back if I return the car earlier, I may as well drive it. So here we are. Now, regarding the car itself, I guess two things. One is that it's super economic. I was driving it for 2 weeks. My tank was still not depleted, and I went for 2 weeks without refill. Now, the bad thing about the car is that for the first week or so, it made no sense to me. It doesn't, obviously it's automatic, and when you want to switch the gearbox between, let's say, park and drive, there are no such things. So what I mean by that is that there is no P as what we're used to in Europe, or I guess the majority of the world is used to, when you want to park. And there is no D for drive. Instead, if you want to park, you need to be neutral, and then of course you need to use the handbrake. And to drive, you switch to E, which I'm not sure what E stands for. So anyone out there who has a Toyota who knows a bit more about cars than me, please educate me. I was making a joke that E probably stands for ease when you drive this car. I'm used to driving a Mercedes, and probably I've become a bit of a snob in that respect, because when you drive a Mercedes, you feel like you're driving some heavy vehicle, even though it might be a small car, but still there is weight to it. There is a certain sense of security and reliability. With this car, it's more of a girly car. And again, I'm sorry, I don't mean to disrespect or offend anyone. It's just what it feels to me like. And like I said, yes, probably I am a bit of a car snob, even though I have not driven much. I only got my driving license about 2 years ago, and I was super lucky to have my first car as a Mercedes. Now, of course, I would imagine that serving this car would cost a lot less than serving a Mercedes, and this is what I'm preparing myself for. I know from my previous A, B services on the Mercedes that my ex-boyfriend used to have, whose car I used to drive, yes, it does cost you a fair bit. But at the same time, I would never, ever compromise that sense of, I'm on the road and I feel like the queen of the road and nothing can ever happen to me. Of course, I must not be what's the word? I must not allow it to get in my head. Of course, I always try to drive responsibly, but like I said, it's the sense of nothing mechanically wise that I feel that will happen to the car while I'm driving. I know that I can just switch the engine on and I just need to be aware of my surrounding. The car will do the rest, more or less. Now, what we're doing today is, like I mentioned, we are going to do the trail. It's called the Caledonia Trail. I believe it's one of 3 or 4 available trails in that area. To be honest, I've done this trail just a few times, and I attempted the other one, which was a little bit, I would say, it was a fair bit more difficult because it was very steep. It was uphill. Not many people take it, as far as I could tell, because the only people I encountered back then were a couple of cyclists. So we're gonna take the easy way out today. We're gonna do the easy trail, which I'm very familiar with. It takes a fair bit of time. The good thing about it, it has a waterfall. Most people jump in and enjoy a bit of fresh, cool water. In the mountains, of course, it's always the case that the weather is less humid and a little more chilled. So it's a nice breakaway from the heat. So right now it's November, and it does not feel like November, obviously. You can see the weather is beautiful. I would say it's about 25 degrees. Maybe more. Yeah, so we'll see how this goes. In general, I like driving and I like long rides. And there is something very appealing about driving and being able to talk and express your thoughts and feelings, because most of the time I just talk to myself. So I decided to turn this hobby, or a bit of passion, if you will, into something a little more sensible. I'm not sure if that would be the word. Like, anyone could ask me, like, why have you decided to do this? I guess so that I have a sense of speaking to somebody else while driving by myself. So this is the deal. Now, of course, Cyprus has so many beautiful places. When you're used to the city, and for most people, when I suppose when they don't live in Cyprus, but let's say if they come to visit, it's a good escape. Now, somebody who permanently lives here, especially if you come from a different country or a bigger city, at some point it will start to daunt on you. It will start to you start to feel a bit claustrophobic. You need to get away, and having a car in this country is a must. It is a complete must. The public transportation is so undeveloped that I could probably only name 3 buses that regularly run in different areas. Now, of course, there are buses that go between cities. There are private companies as well that operate. But if I were to go outside my house in the morning and try to catch a bus from where I live, forget it. It doesn't exist. I would probably need to walk to a particular point and then hope for the best. There were times that I were taking buses because I wasn't driving, and it was a hit and miss. Sometimes it would come on time, sometimes it would be terribly late, sometimes the bus would come but it would be out of order. So getting to work on time was always a game of luck, a game of chance, Russian roulette. Now, of course, there is what I would call a tourist bus. It operates on the main beach road, as what the locals call it, bus number 30. Now that one pretty much runs smoothly because there is a bus every 30 minutes, I would say. However, that particular bus stops running around 11 at night. So if you're stuck in town or you're having a bit of fun, coming back home would mean you would have to take a taxi. Other buses, however, so the other one that I had the pleasure of taking before, at one point I finished work and I was around 6 o'clock at the bus stop, and it would never come. Like, that's it. It was done for the day. So that's pretty annoying, especially now that I finish around 7. Well, imagine. And taxis here, well, for the local standards, I would say quite expensive if you take them regularly. I had a friend visiting me about 2 years ago. So, again, it was at the time before I had passed my driving exam. So I wasn't driving, so we had to take taxis. And we were laughing because no matter where we'd go, the taxi driver would always give us the price tag of 10 euros. 10 euros one way. Oh, you're going to the beach? 10 euros. You're going there? 10 euros. And of course, they do use meters. Most of the time, there are meters in those taxis. But it was just our luck. Depending on the distance and time, 10 euros one way, 10 euros if you want to get home. So there you go, 20 euros just to go to the beach and come back. So technically speaking, really impractical. And local families, they have multiple cars. So if someone is obsessed about sustainability, recycling, being eco-friendly, you would go crazy. One family can have 3 to 5 cars easy. And they're not sharing. Like, most of the time, we know if we are traveling in the same direction, someone would take us somewhere. Someone would give us a lift to or from work. No, here people take their own cars, they go to work, and they come back and they go around their day, they go about their day in their own vehicle. It's how it is here. I remember my childhood when obviously our mom would take me and my sister to our schools. We used to go to 2 different schools. They were close by, and of course, if my mom had some business in the city, and her husband as well, if he had to do something, there is no way they would take separate cars. We would all take one car and figure it out time-wise. If I had to be a bit early in school, be it. If I had to be a bit late, well, suck it up, buttercup. Explain it to the teacher. We have a couple of bikers behind us. Let's see if they take over. There they are. Yep. So the road itself would probably take us about half an hour to 40 minutes. I would love to stop somewhere to check on the video and the sound quality, since this is the first time I'm doing it. So at any given opportunity, I would like to make a pit stop. I must say, because I'm driving without any AC on, because I think it might interfere with the sound quality, I'm starting to feel a little bit hot. I have to be honest. Oh, sorry. And it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I had 2 coffees. And even though I try not to exceed that limit, I feel like I would want to have one more. Just one more. I think I can see where I can park. Okay, there you go. Lovely. Even though it says no park, no stop. Except emergency. Well, this is an emergency. I need to check the sound quality. I'm sorry. Okay? So we'll put the blinkers on and let's see what happens. I have to apologize. I guess I will not be recording furthermore. I just realized when I was checking the sound quality and the video quality that I am on 7%. My GoPro is. So I guess that will not give us enough time to complete the video. However, lesson learned, take the extra battery. That's what I should do next time. And hopefully next time I will be driving my own car, since I have to return this one on the 17th. So, yeah, this what being unprofessional means. This is the epitome of it. If you want to put my picture next to the word unprofessional, YouTuber, vlogger, whatever you want to call it, there you go, you have my permission. So anyway, thank you so much for joining the ride with me, and I'll see you next time.